Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Today is Natural Equilibrium Group 29th webinar, and doubts and clarifications are making bioenzymes or ecoenzymes and how to use it, when to use it, and what are the different challenges we will get. As a beginner, we come to know about bioenzymes, like, from the online website, videos, and all the stuff. But when we really start making of those and start using of them, we'll be having many doubts. And then we feel like, we need some expert guidance advice. Then we join in a couple of groups, and then we start posting all the questions, and we feel irritated when we don't get a proper response instantly. So this is a platform we are trying an effort to see, instead of everybody asking the questions at the different times, how about all the participants and experts coming on a single platform on a fixed time, and then they start discussing. Say, discuss, then this will cover many participants' questions. So with that in the mind, we started this webinar, especially who know what are the bioenzymes and how to use it and all the stuff. But still, they might be having many questions, and at one level, at one go, they want to clear all the doubts. Now we have a Vidyaji with us. She is going to take care of. She is going to address all the doubts. Yeah, Vidyaji.
Start with a very small. Hi, I'll just start with a very small intro of how to make bioenzymes, just in case there is someone here who's not yet attempted it. This will be like a tiny review process for them. So ecoenzyme or bioenzyme or garbage enzymes are nothing but a form of acetic acid. In other words, you can say homemade vinegar. That's exactly what it is. It is made with the help of leftover fresh fruit peel or vegetable peel waste. And I would like to emphasize on the word waste here, specifically fresh fruit peel waste and vegetable peel waste in, let's say, the ratio 3 and 1 ratio of jaggery or unrefined sugar, and the same 10 parts of water. So the ratio is 1, 3, 10 in an airtight plastic container, which is to be kept aside for about 3 months. The first month we open it every single day and we release the carbon dioxide. The next 2 months, that is month number 2 and 3, we just keep it closed and keep it aside somewhere. So that's a process. End of 3 months, you need to filter it. And the filtrate or the substance that is obtained in the filter on top, that can be reused for the next batch of ecoenzyme. It can be used as compost. It can be used for various things. But what we are really interested in is the golden liquid that you get at the end of the process after filtering. So this liquid can hence be transferred from the plastic bottle into a glass bottle. Anything other than a metal bottle is fine, including plastic bottles or glass bottles or wooden barrels if you have any. And it can be stored literally for your entire lifetime. So that's a guarantee that I can give you. If done properly, the acetic acid solution or the homemade vinegar solution at the end of the 3-month process, when it is well made, can be stored lifelong. So imagine the immense possibilities this cleaning solution has for us. Depending on the kind of substance that you've used, the kind of fruit or the kind of fruit peel or vegetable peels that you have used, this can be used as a toilet cleaner. That's like the best option to start with for a beginner. But since this is the advanced class, you might have a lot of doubts regarding why we should not use, let's say, garlic, or why should we use the entire ginger and not just the ginger peel. So a lot of questions can come up. I'm looking forward to all the different ways that you all have experimented with the ecoenzyme, and any questions that you may have, I would love to answer them. So let's get started with the question answers. You can feel free to request the host, that is Sudhir, to unmute you one by one and ask the question. Or if you can type it in the chat window in Zoom, we can address it one by one. Or you can also talk in any language that you're comfortable with. We have someone on the call who I think understands most languages. So we're good to start.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions in the group chat, and initially I will start a couple of questions from generic point of view.
Yeah.
So first question frequently we'll come to know is, okay, I prepared what as your presenter described, and I did all the stuff. How to know when it is ready?
So typically, you can blindly follow this method of Dr. Rosukon from Thailand, who is the initial person who invented this wonderful formula of 1-3-10 and brought industrial level fermentation down to home level fermentation. So as I said in the starting, it is nothing but vinegar. So the end of the process, you would know that the solution is stable and ready to be filtered and harvested and used with the typical smell of vinegar. If you haven't smelled vinegar in your whole life, then you can assume it is a slightly sour smell along with the fruit or vegetable smell that you had originally put in. So how would you know it is completely ready? This is the ad hoc method. The other method is by using a pH testing paper, a litmus test paper from, remember in the school days, we had a solution, a basic solution also called alkaline, and an acidic solution, which is hydrochloric acid, which is there in your harpic, citric acid, and likewise acetic acid. So these are all acidic solutions. With the help of a pH meter or a pH paper strip, you can test that your solution is ready. It is safe to say that at the end of 3 months, the solution will have some small quantity of ethanol alcohol and a large quantity of acetic acid, and of course water, along with a few other little enzymes and other minerals and other types of complex compounds in them, because after all, it was the fermentation of a fruit or vegetable. So you can imagine there's a whole lot of things going on there. So yes, so the short answer is it should smell like vinegar. The long answer is it depends on you. If you keep it for 6 months, you might actually get a much more stronger solution. But that again depends on how much jaggery you had put, what is the quality of the jaggery that you used, at what temperature are you currently living in, at what temperature have you kept this ecoenzyme solution in a plastic bottle, and so on. Does that answer your question? You can type in the chat and we can move on to the next question.
Yeah. So another question is, to cut short the 3 months process, we add 10% of the previous batch
Yes.
vinegar or residues of the previous batch. And
Yes.
We think it will be 30 to 40 days, it will be ready. So
Yes.
in the process also, the identifying when it is ready, the same process, right?
Yeah, it's exactly the same process. One small correction is we don't add 10% of the vinegar of the previous batch. We add about, let's say, a handful for 1 bottle, 1 liter bottle, a handful of the substrate, which is nothing but the filtrate, the solid, which is deposited at the bottom of the bottle, and then you filter it out. We add about a handful, or let's say 10% of the entire quantity that you're going to make in the next batch.
Not the prepared culture or
No,
liquid.
not the filtered golden liquid. You want to save the golden filtered liquid for your household multi-purpose cleaning purposes.
Okay.
So you would add the filtrate.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Another question is, say the general formula to follow is 1:3:10:20, where 20 is the container size. But in some cases, we fill up to the bottle's complete neck. What will happen in that case? Whether the bioenzyme is ready or it's failed to prepare?
It will be ready in any case, but it's just that you might not live to see the end of it. What I mean by that is, if you notice, this bottle is, let's say, more than 75% filled. So the golden ratio that I strongly recommend is 1:3:10 and 16.
Okay.
Just for the sake of the experiment, I had filled this bottle, this 500 ml half-liter water bottle, with tulsi seeds, a few tulsi leaves, stems, right till the brim.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, the color of the bottle's lid is different. It's white. And that's because I purposely filled it till the brim, and I kept it in this bucket. in this plastic bucket because I was expecting an accident, and I purposely kept it closed even on the second day. As you know, the first or second day of the yeast action, the fungus action, is very, very highly accelerated, I should say. And this entire thing just blew out. Can you notice the seeds are come till the brim here? It just blew up like a fountain all the way out and spilled all around in the bucket. If I had dared keep it for a few more days without opening it or with the bottle still to the brim, then I would definitely have had an accident with the lid or with liquid flowing out into my face. Another thing that happens is when you do these kind of experiments, you should be ready for the consequences. Another thing that happens is this, the top layer is the precious yeast and the azotobacter. So when it flows out like a fountain and falls down, you are losing the active, precious yeast and bacteria layer, which is the topmost, usually the topmost layer. The bottom layers of the liquid also will contain the yeast, but the most active one will be on top. And when it rushes out like a fountain or a soda or champagne, what happens is all of it is wasted. So it is strongly recommended that you do not fill it up till the brim. And if you do fill it up till the brim and you're really in a big hurry to make the ecoenzyme ready with the help of addition of yeast or the old substrate of the ecoenzyme made previously, then you need to keep a very, very close watch on it, literally 24/7, because you never know when it is going to be filled with carbon dioxide and burst. Next question.
Yeah, so far I never came across such a bursting of a sudden release of gases.
Okay.
I observed only when I added more leaves or different neem leaves, tulsi leaves. But when I added only citrus peels like Mosambi or orange,
Yeah.
I never got that. Is it normal or what is that?
Can you help unmute the person who has asked this question?
No, it's a generic question I got from previous discussions.
Acha, okay. So depending on the temperature in which you are in, if you're in a very cold place, the enzyme action would be, the microbe action would be less. Or if the lid of your bottle is not airtight, the gentle, the carbon dioxide would be gently escaping. So that's the reason why you didn't face the buildup. Or another probable reason could be that the peels that you've put and the jaggery that you've put does not have that great a percentage of the naturally found yeast and bacteria. So as you know, the peels and the environment around us, we have a lot of fungus and bacteria floating around us, even on our skin. So some people refrigerate or store the peels for more than a day. Depending on how it was stored, there could either be worms in your ecoenzyme or there could not be that much enzyme activity, microbe activity. So that could also explain for lack of the gas gushing out. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's going to be a little slower. That's all.
Okay. So one more question is, the many presenters say the container should be airtight. That means when you fill the water and we turn it upside and down, the water should not leak. But many times what we get the containers is they will drop 1 or 2 drops because more pressure on the lid. And we started doing on those kind of container, we still feel that the engines are getting ready. Is it safe to continue those bottles or not?
Yes, it's perfectly safe to continue those bottles. As an added measure, you could just put a piece of cloth around the whole thing and a rubber band around it. That should also suffice. If the lid is not airtight, it's not that the enzyme, the ecoenzyme won't happen. It will happen, but certain steps along the way might be slower or faster. For example, the jaggery that you put into the bottle, if your bottle is not airtight and there are some insects or ants that get inside, and maybe if the peels already have the larvae of insects on it, then the worms and the ants and the insects and other kind of bacteria and fungus could eat up the jaggery and leave very less jaggery for the yeast to consume. So in that case, it's not that all the yeast will stop consuming the jaggery and prevent the colony from getting formed. Some yeast colonies will definitely get formed, but there could be other bacteria and funguses acting on your solutions. So that's the reason why we always insist upon airtight plastic container, airtight lid for the plastic container.
Okay. So one more thing is the preparation of yeast on the top, like a white fungus looking,
Yes.
is not forming. That means my bioenzyme is ready or not?
At what stage?
Even after 6 months, it's not forming.
If you have followed the process right, and if you can see my screen, are you able to see it?
Yeah.
This is a kind of white layer that is formed usually. But imagine the same thing if you are having something like this. Can anybody guess what this is?
Grapes?
That's a good guess. Since you are guessing on behalf of all the participants, I should say, I should maybe not prolong this. This is beetroot. And there is no way that you're going to get this white layer on top in the case of, most probably in the case of beetroot peels.
Okay.
This beautiful liquid is beetroot, just the peels of the beetroot. And it has never had a white layer formed on top. But I know that it is in progress. Because the initial 7 days that I tried to open this tiny bottle, I did feel the gas being released. I did feel the pressure of it. So it doesn't mean that your ecoenzyme is not ready at the end of 6 months. If that is a hypothetical question, then I would say, let's experiment it and see. But this is what happens usually for a beginner level class with vegetables and fruit peel waste. I always recommend to start with citrus for this reason, so that just once you can observe the entire process, and then you will be able to experiment and edit it and suit it to your convenience.
Okay, got it. Yeah, we'll take questions from the participants. Sudeepa Garu, I'm unmuting you, or try to unmute yourself. Sudeepa Garu.
Hello.
Yeah, please ask your question.
Yeah, for storing the enzyme, you suggest only glass containers if we need to store for a couple of years?
Yes, glass container for storing is recommended. Because the kind of plastic containers that we are getting nowadays and which are in use in the mainstream are not exactly food grade. By that, I mean that there will be a little partial amount of leaching from the plastic container because of the acidic environment inside the plastic bottle. And especially when you're storing it for a very long time, this leaching is not going to cause the bottle to rupture. Plastic, unfortunately, is very hardy that way. But over a period of time, you would be getting little particles of plastic molecules, invisible to the eye, of course, but into your bioenzyme liquid. And we don't wish to get that. That is the reason why we say glass bottles. Please note, none of the bioenzymes made in plastic is fit for consumption, human consumption, or anybody else's consumption. It is used purely as a cleanser. That's it. So yes, even for storage of bioenzyme, ecoenzyme, we strongly recommend to store it in glass bottles. But if it is for a very short time period, you can afford to transport it and store it briefly on the shelf in food grade plastic containers. If absolutely not recommended to go and buy these plastic containers, please try your best to reuse what is available in your house or in your neighbor's house. But please don't go and buy more plastic stuff.
Yes. And one more doubt also. I used a wide mouthed plastic container, which is about 2 liters. So I don't see too many bubbles. I mean, is it okay? I mean, I just see small couple of bubbles. That is, I don't really see any gas or feel gas being released forcefully.
So the level at which these activities are happening are at the microbial, microscopic level. So a couple of molecules of carbon dioxide, we can hardly ever notice it escaping. As you said correctly, you're using a wide mouth container.
Yes.
So that's the reason why even before you remove the lid completely on
Yeah.
day 30, the gas has already escaped. So
Yes, that's what
that's the reason why you don't. In fact, for people like you who are using a wide mouth container or large 500-liter drums, you just need to unscrew the lid and then immediately you can close it back. You don't even need to open it and keep it aside for a half a second or so. Just the process of unscrewing the lid, the gases would have escaped.
Okay. Okay. So we don't have to shake the bottle or anything. Just opening would do. That's it.
Yes, that just especially for wide-mouthed containers, that is not the bottle forms. You don't need to shake it at all. Some people do recommend that if you have put large chunks of the entire vegetable or the entire fruit and the entire big chunk of jaggery, the initial 1 to 7 days, that is the initial 1 week, you can put a sterilized, a clean wooden stick or spoon and just give it a little mix. But I'm pretty confident that the microbes are way stronger, and it's not a single microbe, right? It's an entire colony of microbe, fungus rather, the yeast colonies. So these fungus will be able to consume the entire jaggery in the first 1 month completely. So let's not waste our energy and try to cut the pieces. The piece of the vegetable or fruit can be as small or as big as the mouth of the container. The inside, we don't need to mix it, we don't need to shake it, we don't need to cut it, we don't need to blend it in the mixer. But keep in mind, if you get an understanding of the process, why do we do all these extra steps? The reason is because we want to increase the surface area for faster microbial action, right? So again, depending on your end use, the end purpose, accordingly, you can tweak the process. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So one more question is, do we need to stir every day?
I was just telling Sudeepa that we don't need to stir at all. The first day that you put in the 3 layers, that is the jaggery 1, 3 parts of fruits and vegetable peels and 10 parts of water, and close the bottle on day 0 or day 1. You don't need to stir it. You don't need to shake it, nothing. In fact, I strongly suggest not to ever try shaking the bottle at any point in time in 3 months, because we don't know how well the lid has been closed. We don't know how long since you last opened the bottle. We don't know exactly what else you might have added into the ecoenzyme as a first timer. So first timers should always remember to follow the process strictly and leave their creativity and imagination for the second and third bottles onwards. For the first time, please do not stir the bottle. But if you have put in very large chunks of jaggery and fruits and vegetables and so on, in that case, maybe for the first 1 week, you can stir it or try and break it down, mash it into little pieces. But most often than not, the entire solid fruits and vegetables and jaggery is completely consumed at the end of 3 months. So you don't need to worry that at the end of 3 months, you're going to have any little jaggery in the water. That's not going to happen. The microbes are very, very efficient. It's a combination of yeast, who is the first hero in our story, and the azotobacter, the bacteria, which converts the ethanol into acetic acid. That's the second hero in our story. So end of 3 months, the story is complete, and both the heroes have done their job. So we don't really need to intervene and stir it and cut it and put it in the mixer, blender, and so on. That's quite unnecessary. And it's also a waste of energy, right? Let's conserve our time, because after the lockdown, we're all going to be very busy with our lives.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, one more question often we get is, I think bioenzyme is not prepared. Still, it has a jaggery smell and jaggery flavor. Is there any way to correct it?
Is the person available on this call?
No. It's a generic question I get sometimes.
It's a generic question, Asha. Okay. So I would really need to know for how long that person has used this, I mean, has kept the ecoenzyme, because
4 months,
if you're still
more than 4
4
months.
months,
Yeah.
okay, then something must be wrong with the ratio, because there's no way that at the end of, in fact, 3 months is actually an excess. We're just taking a buffer of a few more days or rather weeks, because we're pretty confident that at the end of the first month itself, the yeast has completely utilized the jaggery and made such a large colony that that colony is now hungry. It doesn't know what to do next because there's no more jaggery left. So it would eventually, that's when it starts eating or breaking down the vegetable and fruit peels. The 2 months that it is sitting aside, that is when it is actually consuming the vegetable and fruit peels, because the yeast has nothing else to eat. It has finished all the jaggery and grown a very, very large colony. And now the entire colony is hungry, right? So it's very hard to imagine a situation wherein the jaggery would still remain at the end of 4 months. It's never happened as far as I have ever come across. And so many of the people who've been doing it, that's never happened. So yes, it definitely the process should be started again. And the ratio, I cannot tell you right now because I would need to see or at least understand how the original ratio was put. So if you're still getting jaggery smell, I would say safely ignore that. And instead of water, you can add that a previous incompletely formed jaggery solution instead of water, but still follow the same ratio in your next bottle, that is 1, 3, 10. So you would put 1 part jaggery, 3 parts of peels, and 10 parts of, instead of normal water, you can tell the participant to put the jaggery water. So there will be an excess of jaggery, but I think it's okay in this case because we don't know the exact ratio right now. Maybe you can ask him to check with me offline. I can try and help him out.
We'll take the question from Shishiji.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you.
So right, I understood that now with the bioenzyme, is it just the acetic acid we are looking for the cleaning purpose, or the byproducts are also take a part or play a role in cleaning?
We are basically looking only for the acetic acid, but there is going to be a very small percentage of alcohol by the name of ethanol. Right? So that is going to be present at the end of 3 months. And there's going to be various other really complex substrates left over from your the kind of vegetable or fruit peel that you've put on day 0, right? So the main guy that we're looking for at the end of 3 months is only the acetic acid, vinegar, acetic acid, whatever you call it. It's not really an enzyme, right? It's actually just an acid, a diluted form of acid. So if you're going to be using this, let's say only for toilet cleaning, then you don't really care about the constituents of your vegetable and fruit peel. But if you're going to be using it, let's say as a mosquito repellent, and you're going to be using it as a room freshener, then you would be very much interested in the constituents of your ecoenzyme, right? That's the reason why pineapple and citrus peels are the #1, followed by anything else that you can put into your ecoenzyme. You had another question?
Yes. Actually, my first batch is finished. I mean, the 3 months I completed in this lockdown period, and I started using it for the bathrooms, and it's good.
Okay.
But I too felt the same thing. Like I feel that the jaggery smell is still there. And the thing is, do we need to dilute it for the cleaning purposes? Because without diluting, I'm able to see good result. So is it okay if we use it? That's not be a problem, right? And one more thing.
No, let me just answer that 1 second. Can I just answer that question?
Yes.
So how much, do you remember how much jaggery had you put?
Yeah, I 1:3 10 is to 20, right? I used a 20-liter can. So I used 1
Okay.
kg of jaggery.
Okay. And by any chance, can you tell me by looking at, I'm just going to show you the jaggery samples that I have right now. If you can tell me which color jaggery had you used?
Yeah, it's brown. It's not light in color. It's dark
The
brown.
dark brown.
Yes.
Okay. This one, something similar to this?
Just hold on.
Is it something similar to this?
It's not that brown. It's somewhere between. Actually, it's not. It's definitely not
Okay.
yellowish or orangish. It's definitely brown.
Okay. So there are two types of sources, main sources of jaggery that we have, right? It comes in different local names. So the one that I have, the dark brown one, is from palm,
Yeah. Okay.
also called as palm sugar. And the light brown one is from sugarcane. So the sugarcane one that we usually get in the market, these are not pure molasses. They've already been refined to some extent. Thus, the microbial activity is a little less. The palm sugar or the jaggery or the good that you get from, let's say, your nearest village, or which you know is purely organic, is extremely delicious for the yeast.
But
Right?
it's expensive.
So the
too, right?
microbial activity, yes, it
370
is. Right. So I get mine in bulk from a village in Tamil Nadu for 80 rupees. And I get it in those large baskets. It's
Okay.
per kg, 80 bucks per kg. Right. So these are very, very strong, and these lead to the creation of very strong ecoenzyme. Now, when I say take 1 kg of jaggery, most people have access to slightly lower quality jaggery. And in the other Sudhir was mentioning, I think the quantity of jaggery, you can afford to reduce it. If you're very sure that the jaggery, the source of the jaggery that you're getting is organic or unrefined and very, very sweet. You can even taste it. I mean, I eat small bits of jaggery almost every day. So I can accurately guess the quality of the jaggery that I have around me. So if this is a result that you found at the end of 3 months, I request you to please reduce the quantity of jaggery the next time that you're using. Let's make it 800 grams instead of 1 kg, right? And then check out the result. Or what you could do with the solution that you have right now, please use the solution without dilution only for your toilets, for toilet cleaning purpose. Let's say once a week or thrice a month or something. But for floor cleaning, for mopping the general areas around the house every day, you definitely must dilute it. The dilution ratio that you're looking at for bathroom cleaners is about, let's say, 1:50. The dilution ratio that you're looking for normal floor cleaning is 1:500 or 1:1,000.
Yeah. One more question.
So which means it's a tiny capful.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
See, I heard that, or I learned that we usually for the floor cleaning and for the washing, I mean laundry and cleaning the utensils, right? They use soap nuts.
Yeah.
Right now, is
Yes,
there
yes.
any alternative for it, like to increase the surface tension or something?
Soap nuts is the only thing that is of the family Sapindus. I don't think there is any other wonderful gift from nature that we have that is naturally available, especially in tropical countries like India. So Sapindus is the only thing that we have that creates that lather or the soapiness, right? As you said correctly, to increase the surface tension. So the bubbling effect that we all want, so that we feel that the thing that we are washing is really clean.
Yes.
So that's the only thing that we have.
And one more thing, is there anything that we should not add to a bioenzyme for a bathroom cleaning? Like, are there any things or pills that we should not add? like onion peels or like the
Yes.
chili
So
crowns?
exactly. So the onion peel, right? The onion peel that you get is dry. It's not a fresh vegetable. It doesn't get categorized under fresh vegetables. So please don't add dry peels. So that includes of onion. And I would say for bathroom cleaning and household purposes, you should not be adding garlic as well. But some people are using ecoenzyme and variations of ecoenzyme as a pesticide, also as a fertilizer, also as a general purpose plant growth hormone. So for those people, please do add garlic itself. You can add ginger, you can add garlic, you can add, if you're going to be using it only as a toilet cleaner, then you can just add anything that is in your kitchen on a daily basis, whatever kitchen waste that you're generating, because you don't really care about what's the toilet going to smell like once you clean it. But if you're going to be using it as a room freshener, and you're going to be using it for your living room or something, then you definitely don't want to be adding things like, let's say, radish or onions, right? I mean, you wouldn't want to add these kind of things. So depending on your use, there are more than 1,000 uses of ecoenzyme. So depending on your end use, your constituents of the ecoenzyme can vary. Does it answer your question?
Yes. And one more thing. So like,
Okay. Can we give a chance to some others?
yeah.
I'm sorry. I think
That's
I think we can get back to any more questions that you have, and I'm sure your questions and the answers have been useful for the others. But let's give also the others chance to ask the
Yes,
question. Is
we'll
that
take
okay?
in a rotation basis.
Okay.
Meghna ji.
Sure.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, I just wanted to show you my Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to show you my liquid that I think it's gone bad or something. I don't know. Just check it.
Huh.
Can you see it? It's gone bad or something.
Yeah, I can see a bunch. I can see a bunch of lemons next to that. Can you give me a view of the bottle from the side as well?
Yes.
Okay. So what all have you added to this bottle? Yes,
It was
yes, I can see it. Yeah.
orange. It was orange.
Okay. And the
It was
oranges that you
made with
added is
orange.
just the...
Yeah,
Okay.
earlier there was a thick layer of fungus in it. I had removed that layer,
Okay.
and after that, see, this kind of layer has formed.
Okay. Okay. So how long has it been in this? When was the first day that you had made this bottle?
Actually, it's very long since I was not sure whether I should use it or not. I haven't used it, but it's around
Okay.
5-6 months since I have made it.
5-6 months. Okay,
I
fine.
have made it
Then you
very
can
long.
close this bottle. Okay, you can close this bottle as of now. Let me tell you two things that I think we all should know. The first is that when you are putting anything like orange peels or orange itself or any other constituent, the main activity, the main task that is being done is that of a fungus.
Okay.
That fungus, in common terms, is yeast. And that white layer on top, that unfortunately I think you removed, as you said, is actually the worker, is the worker that we were looking forward to having.
Oh, it was a very thick, like foam, very thick layer.
Okay, so and you have used a very beautiful.
Hello.
Sorry, go ahead. You were saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was a very thick fungus layer on it, and I removed that layer.
Yeah, so now you have removed almost like 90% of the yeast that we wanted. I mean, so the step, I mean, you just need to open the bottle lid and close it immediately to prevent any insects from going inside. And we don't remove anything out of the bottle at any cost till the end of 3 months is over. Now the remaining little yeast that was there in the other layers of liquid, after you remove the topmost yeast layer, the foamy layer, also called as a scum, there was very less yeast left in the bottle. So that is the reason your entire process of making the ecoenzyme would have been extended for a very long time. And even now, I'm not sure if it got a chance to be kept closed for 2 months in order to convert whatever little alcohol was there in your bottle when you removed the layer into acetic acid. Right? So it's not spoiled. It is just that the army of workers that had formed the white foam on top have been removed. And your ecoenzyme did not get a chance to complete the process in 3 months.
Okay.
Okay, so I would suggest the same thing to you that I told, I think, Sudeepa, right? That you can use this liquid instead of water. But if you don't want to take a risk, then please start from scratch. You can still keep this aside. It's a stable liquid. It looks stable. It doesn't look spoiled. If it was really spoiled, then you would get the smell of gutter. Literally, hydrogen sulfide.
No, the smell is good. Smell is good.
So it looks like there definitely has been some activity, especially since you put orange and musambi and citrus fruits like lemon and so on are so beautiful smelling. So I would request you not to throw it, just keep it aside for some time, make a new batch, and end of 3 months, once you have your first batch of ecoenzyme ready, you can use that along with this, let's say, experimental batch in dilution. So you get the smell from your current batch and the acetic acid from your new batch.
Okay, so should I strain it? Should I strain it?
Yes, you can strain it. But if you're going to be using this, let's say for washing the grease from your kitchen vessels, like a kadai or something, then you don't even need to strain it. You can use the semi-solid liquid that you have to scrub the vessels.
Okay, okay. All right. Thank you so much. Yes, yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
We have 36 people on the call, and there seems to be a lot of chats. Something about Sudhir, are you there?
Yes, yes. Umaji.
Let me take the.
No, we'll take the question from the participants. Umaji. I'm not able to unmute her. Yeah, we'll take the question from the chat. So first question from Sampath is, can we use the dry peas?
Sudhirji.
Yeah, please ask Sumaji.
Yeah, hi. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Uma.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm using it from a long time, maybe a couple of months or like 3-4 months. So I done my 3 months thing. Now I'm using the culture as the like for the next batch, like in 1 to 3:10. The one part is I'm taking the culture of the earlier batch and using it. You got it, right?
Yeah, I think the 1, 3, 10, and 16 is actually the ratio of jaggery. The 1 is for the jaggery. Even when you use the previous batch substrate or the culture in your new batch, that does not replace the jaggery at any cost. Jaggery is always 1. The ratio of jaggery is always 1. Your fruit peel and vegetable peel waste will always be 3. And typically your water content will always be 10. That doesn't change at all. The only small change that you are doing is that of adding the culture. When we say the culture, for people who are doing it for the first time, they won't have a culture. But the second time that you do, that is after the 3-month process, like how Uma has done, that culture is a substrate or the filtrate. After filtering, when you get the solid, that is called as a culture. If it is used immediately in your next batch, that culture is active and the process will become, instead of 90 days, it will become less than a month, just 3 weeks. That is because you added the yeast culture, right? So
Okay.
the constituents of the ratio never change at any cost. It's always 1-3-10, jaggery, peels, and water. Anything that you
Oh,
put in as an additional accelerator, either the yeast from the market, the baker's bread yeast, or the culture of the previous batches, depending on how much you put, uh, please make very sure that the quantity of the additional culture, when you're putting it, the previous culture, the air gap at the top of the bottle should be at least 25 to 30% empty. So the air gap should still remain. So if you're taking a 1 liter bottle and you've already filled it up to 70%, and after putting, let's say, one handful of culture
but
substrate.
I need to compulsory put the jaggery. If like
Yes.
I don't know, I missed, or like in some others said like this, that the one part instead of jaggery you can put the culture, they said. So I've been using like that only, but I
Okay.
don't know.
I think it could have been a missed point, but I'm pretty sure it's not possible to add just the culture of the previous batch and get started in this simple ecoenzyme process by Dr. Rasukon. But let me also tell you another thing. It is quite possible that if you're using fruits which contain natural fructose, right?
Yeah. I'm
Maybe in
using
those
only oranges and yeah, mostly oranges and lemon. Yeah, most of them is I'm using the fruits only, not
yeah,
any vegetables. Maybe
are you
some,
using the fruits or the fruit peels?
yeah, fruit peels. I mean, sorry.
Fruit peels, okay. So if you're using the fruit peels, we really need to get a jump start on the yeast colony in the first 1 month, right? So that's the reason why we want the jaggery. But if you're using, instead of the fruit peels, if you happen to use the entire orange fruit,
Mm-hmm.
or any other fruit which is sweet or slightly sweet, including even tomatoes, in that case
Okay.
there is some amount of fructose, which is a form of sugar or complex sugar, right? Sorry, a simple sugar, fructose.
Yeah. Yeah.
That also is excellent food for the yeast. So
Oh.
maybe in those conditions, you may not need to add jaggery, but that is something that I would request you to experiment in smaller bottles in smaller quantities and get a hang of how much to add or not add. And make very sure when you're doing these experimental batches, you put it in a bucket, or
Mm-hmm.
you put it in an area where even if it spills, you're still okay,
Oh,
right?
okay, okay. But I don't know. Yeah, it's working and the smell is also good. I'm not sure. Like,
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. Just make sure whatever is the end result, the vinegar, acetic acid in dilute form, is use it on a tiny patch, like how you do a skin test when you buy some cosmetics, right? A small
right.
patch test. Use it on a small piece of cloth or floor or any other substance.
I've been using in the restrooms, like for the
Right.
sinks and for the vessels also. I'm cleaning in the kitchen. They are so good.
Excellent.
I'm getting a good result. I don't know what.
That's fantastic. You're already gone to the advanced level. Thanks, Uma. I think we have 10 minutes left, so
Yeah, yeah.
let's get to
Okay.
questions.
Thank you. Thank you for the information.
Welcome.
So is there any possibilities there whether bioenzyme is not ready, still we are using and we are getting a good result? Maybe because it converted
Yes.
to acidic is
Yes.
working, but there is no
Yes.
microbial population, which is we are expecting to help us.
Not exactly. So the yeast is a single-celled organism, right? So one single yeast is a tiny little cell. And when I say a yeast colony, the yeast colony is like a human community or a village. There are yeast of different ages. There are humans of different ages, children, grandparents, etc. Right? So it's not that only on day 90, end of 3 months, that the acetic acid is finally ready for our use. The process is happening from day one. there could be a particular yeast that is very active and that has already reached the end of its life cycle in 5 days. There could be a particular yeast that has lived on the skin of your papaya or musambi already for quite some time. And then once you put it into the solution, ecoenzyme on day 0, it immediately dies because it has reached end of life. Right? So there is some quantity of ethanol alcohol, there is some quantity of acetic acid, and there are various other complex compounds in your ecoenzyme. So in case of Uma, she is finding excellent results, even though the process is still not completely done in this 1:10:16 ratio. Some orange peels that have been put, and it has been kept in a warm, conducive room temperature environment, and so there is some acetic acid formed. But is it entire bottle completely ready? I would not. Right?
Okay. Yeah, we'll go for next question. Srinivas Babu garu.
Yeah.
Srinivas Babu garu. Please ask your question. Yeah.
Yeah. Namaste, ma'am. Two things. One is the proportions what we take in the bottles, right? 1:3, 10:15, or 20 is the ratio we use. Is it mandatory that the bottle or water, the space, that 5% of space has to be left? What if it is little bit less or more? I think more shouldn't be a problem. If it is little bit less, will there be any issues apart from breaking of this?
That's a big issue actually, right? Breaking of the bottle, things popping out and creating a mess around you is a big issue for some people. But the space recommended is 25 to 30% empty air. So more is not an issue, most cases, but less is definitely an issue. If you happen to fill the bottle up to the brim, there are chances of explosion, losing the top layer, and also other microbes entering the bottle, because you have kept the bottle was open for too long when it had exploded or opened up, right? So less is certainly an issue, even if it is in a plastic bottle, but more, in 99% of the cases, leaving extra space is never wrong. Very rare border issues, like there could be a larger amount of other bacteria and yeast in the atmosphere that you have allowed inside the bottle, which prevents the yeast colony from establishing to the best ability that it could have. There could be other microbes also in your, let's say 70%, if assume you have left 70% of the bottle empty with air, that there could be other particulate matter in that air, and very rare chance that it is going to get messed up. So leaving more air space is hardly ever the issue. Leaving lesser air space, please be careful. You might have to open the bottle even 3 times in the initial 7 days, right?
Yeah. Okay. And just one more thing. I've been trying to make this bioenzyme with the lemongrass for this mosquito repellent.
Wonderful. That's excellent. Yeah.
So I made actually 2 batches. One batch, it is almost more than 60 days now. But the thing is, I have not found this yeast top layer, whatever is that thing, right? There was a few days back, there was a very small, minute layer sort of thing. But then again, when we shake the bottle, right, it went off. But lemongrass normally, if you take it and in the hand itself, you get that smell, right? The oil and all those things. But when I try to smell that smell also, I'm not able to get that fragrance sort of thing. I thought lemongrass should be put it in a mixie or grind it, something like that, and use it, or I've just used the fresh lemongrass straws.
So in this case, because this is not a beginner's class, I can, and because lemongrass is very precious and fantastic fragrance, you can actually help the yeast and the bacteria by breaking down the cellulose. Now, the cell walls of your grass are extremely sturdy, even a normal grass, right? Only herbivores can digest it. Humans cannot digest it because they don't have adequate amount of bacteria which can break down the cell wall. It is made out of cellulose, and these cell walls typically are very hard to break. So you can help or accelerate the process along by blending it. I would say instead of using a mixie, if you could use the hand pounding machine we used to use in the past, by just smashing the grass instead of putting it in the mixie and blending it, it might help release the essential oils from the lemongrass in a more slow manner, because you're going to be soaked in that jaggery water solution for quite some time, right? So a slow release would be better. You don't want the essential oil to just vaporize and escape. Be careful when you're opening it, because most of the essential is in the bottle. Slightly higher temperatures, the essential oil will evaporate. And you could lose your lemon grass smell. When you open
Your voice is.
In case of lemongrass in your example, for wherein the smell of lemongrass is not much, I would say to crush the lemongrass with the help of a hand pounder rather than putting it in the mixie, because we want to accelerate the process of the cell wall breakdown of the lemongrass. Lemongrass and even normal grass is very sturdy, right? So folks will find it a little difficult to digest. We can accelerate the process by crushing the grass and oil, which gives us.
And next question from Neil Mantriji. I'm not able to unmute. Please unmute yours. Yeah, Neil ji.
Namaste ji.
Yes.
Actually, my bioenzyme is prepared and I want to use it for the clothes cleaning and utensil cleaning. So any specific dilution or like a specific ratio is needed, because I heard soap nuts are required, but because the market is closed, we can't buy any.
Right. So can I know your age if you don't mind?
I'm 12.
Okay, cool.
Wow.
Really awesome that you are using eco enzymes. Congratulations. You inspired, I think, everybody on this call today. Yes, ideally, you could use the soap nuts from the by soaking it or boiling it and extracting it. But in due to lack of availability of it, you must at any point in time always experiment on a very small patch of cloth, preferably not the clothes that you're using to wear outside. Experiment on a waste piece of cloth. Soak it for even 1 hour. It's okay. Soak the diluted bioenzyme for at least an hour before you try to rinse it and scrub it and wash out the dirt from your clothes. The reason why you must do the patch test before you dip the entire cloth into the diluted bioenzyme solution is because if the cloth is bright white, it means that certain whiteners have been used on normal white cloth. And by using the ecoenzyme or the bioenzyme, it could cause a little dullness to the cloth. Now remember, there is nothing like pure, perfect white. Usually the fabric that we are using, cotton or synthetic, has been whitened to be looking that white. So when you're using, let's say, an ecoenzyme made out of citrus, or let's say an ecoenzyme made out of any other type of vegetable peel, it could leave a slight stain on your clothes. This stain is not dirt, it is just the other phenols and the other color compounds of your fruit and vegetable. Also, the kind of jaggery that you use in your ecoenzyme is again very important. So to answer your question in a very short way, because we are out of time, please experiment with the dilution ratio. For example, if you are using one cup of concentrated ecoenzyme, dilute it in 1 mug of water, and then dip your sample piece of cloth into it and see if the stain has gone just a little after you scrub it after an hour of soaking, then you don't need to dilute it this much. You need to have it a little thicker. If it goes within 5 minutes of scrubbing itself, then probably you need to dilute it even more, right? Totally depends on the strength of your acetic acid, vinegar, ecoenzyme solution and the kind of dirt that you have on the piece of cloth. Please experiment on cloth and on floor before diluting and using. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Neil, for asking the question.
Next question.
Yeah, Neelima ji.
Namaste, ma'am. Actually, we tried making the bioenzyme, and I'm using for the floor cleaning, mirrors, etc. and very satisfied with that. But for dishwashing, I'm not able to get it. I tried using soaking the soap nuts in bioenzyme also for 2 weeks and grinding, crushing, and started using for dishwash. But it's not helping much. I don't find satisfaction there.
Okay. Okay. And firstly, Neelima, I'm very glad that you're using for other purposes first, and then you've gone on to the vessels. Could you tell me if you still have access to the substrate that you had filtered out of the bioenzyme?
Can I show you?
The filtered. Yeah,
no,
you can show me if you have access, but if you could just the substrate or the filtrate that you had filtered out of the bottle, the liquid ecoenzyme, the solid that you had filtered out on a piece of cloth or filter, do you still have that with you?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you can take a bit of that substrate and the kitchen scrub and use the substrate itself to soak your oil stain and your greasy kitchen vessels.
Okay.
And rather than using the ecoenzyme and diluting it and then soaking the vessels in it, you can use the solids itself, the solid filtered substance that you got at the end of 3 months for your vessel scrubbing. Just make sure it doesn't block your drainage. But if you plan to, yes, tell me. Yeah, the pulp, exactly. The
pulpy enzyme.
Yes.
Yes, yes. I tried, ma'am.
The pulpy enzyme.
Yes. I tried soaking soap nuts in the pulpy enzyme itself also. But
okay, so soap nut helps in lathering process. The right way to use soap nut is actually one way is to boil it, and then after 24 hours of letting it seep through, then filter it and use it. But that uses energy, unnecessary energy, right, for boiling it. Instead, you can just soak it for 24 hours in your ecoenzyme, get rid of the seeds, and use this pulpy soap nut pulp along with the ecoenzyme. Try and modify the ratio a bit, and also what is the kind of stain that you're trying to remove. Right? First, the right way to wash vessels and wash clothes is to first use just normal, plain, simple water to try and get rid of whatever dirt is available on it. After that, soak it for some time in the diluted ecoenzyme solution. In your case, you would use the pulpy ecoenzyme pulp and as well as the soap nut pulp. Soak it for some time. 20 minutes to half an hour. I don't think it's necessary to soak more than that from my experience. And then you scrub it with your kitchen scrub. In case of clothes, you would use the brush, right? Scrub on it and then rinse it. That is the right way to do it. Yeah.
Okay. So do we need to soak even vessels with this initially?
Yes. If you could soak soak it, or if it is the inner part of the kadai, the oily kadai, for example, then you don't need to soak it in a tub. You can just put the liquid into it and soak it. Soaking allows the ecoenzyme as well as any leftover microbes in it to act on the greasy bits.
Okay.
The advantage or the convenience of using chemicals like Vim or Rin and all these kind of very, very harsh, harmful to environment, harmful to human chemicals is that it is very strong, and not only does it remove the dirt faster, it also damages the cloth on which you're using these kind of harsh chemicals, right? Detergents.
Right.
But the advantage of using ecoenzyme and the pulpy bits of ecoenzyme to remove heavy greasy items or very dirty collar dirt of shirts and so on is that it is a little slow process. In case you don't have the time to soak it and leave it during the day, you can do that as a last thing that you do every night. You can soak it overnight. There's not going to be much damage. At least it won't be as much fiber damage as you would when you're using chemical detergents. So if you don't have time during the day, soak it overnight.
Yeah, I think initially we need to wash it with the plain water and then use the bioenzyme. Most people, we don't do that, and we still look bioenzyme as an alternative for a detergent. That's where many people will fail in this case.
Yeah, good point, Sudhir. Yeah. Do we have time for another one question? I mean, we are already overshot the time. Welcome, Nilima. Next question.
Yeah, Shashi,
one last question.
If you have a question, please ask. Yeah, one more question is, even after 4 months, still the peels are floating on the top, especially in the Mozambique case. Is it normal?
Okay. It's okay. It's not necessary that everything must settle down right at the bottom. If the peel size is large or the bottle shape is a little odd, the peel might not have got a chance to go down and settle. It's totally okay as long as your end result at the end of minimum 3 months is going to be smelling of the slightly sour smell of vinegar. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, Shishiji.
Yes. Based on this discussion, now I understood that jaggery is something we need to know, a good jaggery that we should be using now. So are there any tips to know which is a good jaggery?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Usually when a jaggery has been refined or processed, apart from the fact that it is being done in a factory kind of a setup and it is using up, by the time it reaches us, it is using up so much of carbon miles along the way, right? Apart from that, the environmental cost of the refining process is very high. Also, the cost of the molasses is a thing that you get after sugarcane. Sugar is extracted from the sugarcane. That is the cheapest. So if you're living near in Maharashtra, for example, and there are a lot of sugar cane fields around you, it shouldn't be very difficult for you to obtain the molasses, the raw molasses directly. Some people, let's say, especially during the lockdown, have asked me if they could use white sugar. That's a terrible thing to do. Firstly, white sugar, even the ants don't go and eat the white sugar. It's that bad. The ants are a very good judge of character. They don't eat up the white sugar, right? But they will go for your jaggery. So I'm sure you cannot experiment with different types of jaggery and offering it to the ants to verify it for you. So one good ad hoc test that you can do by yourself is press the jaggery and see. Press the good and see. If it is very, very hard and it has to be hit with a hammer to break it down, then most probably it has been adulterated with white sugar or some other method. But there are some villagers who take the hot boiling jaggery water and they put it into the coconut shells and then they leave it for drying on the roadside. If they leave it for too long, it could get compressed and it could get very hard by the time it reaches you. So this is not 100% test. It's always good to know where you're sourcing your vegetables and fruits from. preferably from your local nearest farmer. So likewise, get it from your nearest village. Not only will it be good business for them, but you would also get the purest product. The other way to check for the jaggery is just by looking at the color of it. But now there are people adulterating jaggery with color as well. So light jaggery is not as good as darker jaggery. Palm sugar jaggery, the large coconut, half coconut ball that I showed you in the start of the 1 hour session, that is way better than the beautiful shape, cuboidal, light brown jaggery that you get. But then again, it depends on where you stay. If you're staying in a place where you have absolutely no access to jaggery and there is no way you can obtain it, and the only thing that you have in hand is the poisonous white sugar, then please don't quote me, but white sugar is a horrible thing to use to make ecoenzyme, but you have absolutely no choice and you're doing it just temporarily as an experimental basis. You can substitute the 1 part ratio of jaggery with sugar, but it is not recommended. It's a very bad idea. And the end result of acetic acid that you get, the cleaning liquid that you get.
We are not using sugar at household anymore. One more
Excellent.
question.
Yeah.
Sweetness of jaggery, I mean, add any difference to the
Yes.
process?
Yes. Yes.
If we add less jaggery,
Huh.
sorry, my bioenzyme is sticky actually, and it's smelling, it's sweet smelling a little. So I thought it must be because of jaggery, that stickiness.
Yes.
Could it be?
Yes, yes, certainly. The stickiness is definitely of jaggery. If at the end of 3 months, you still have the sticky feeling and you're smelling and the liquid is smelling sweet, then it means that the quality of jaggery the quantity of jaggery that you've added is too much. And if you feel that you followed the correct proportion 1-3-10, it is quite possible that the quality of jaggery that you have is so good and so dense that when you're adding the jaggery by volume, it is actually much more than the ratio 1. It might look like 1 part or 1 cup full of jaggery, but compared to the peels, you might have add more peels and more water as well. So either you reduce the quantity of jaggery in your next batch, or you increase the quantity of the vegetable peels and water. Go step by step, increase it by 1 proportion.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, one more question in the chat is whether we go for a weight basis 1:3:10 or the measurement basis.
If you have access to something that can measure in grams in weight basis, please do go by the measurement. If you have no way to measure the number of grams and the quantity by weight, then you can go by volume. If you do not have any other small katori or container or large container that can adequately measure, then use the method that I have taught with the help of the piece of paper. Fold a paper in 8 times, one over the other over the other. Mark the 16 equal parts that you get. Put it alongside the container. If in the case of the bottle, you can use a simple scale ruler. If it is a case of a large drum, then use the newspaper as a kind of a measure. Fold it so that you get 16 equal bits, proportions, and mark 1-3-10 on it. Once you put the jaggery, the first 1 part is covered, and then the 3 parts of the peels, and then 10 parts of water, and the remaining part is left free. That is 25 to 30% is left free in the case of a larger drum or something, and you don't have something to weigh exactly 5 kg of jaggery and all. You can just put it approximately. But then it could so happen that the quantity of jaggery that you're putting is little less or little more, as in the case of the previous participant who asked the question about the ecoenzyme at the end of 3 months still being sticky, right? So these things might happen. So for a first timer, I would always recommend to do the exact measurements and do it according to the measurements. But if you have already some amount of experience in making the ecoenzyme, then you can afford to vary the quantity of jaggery. As I said, in advanced classes, we can also make ecoenzyme without jaggery with the help of using the fruit. sugar, fructose, the fruit directly, but then the quantity and other proportions will vary vastly. So that is, you will have to experiment on that. It's on a case-to-case basis. Okay, so I think we've kind of overshot the time by more than 15 minutes. I'm sorry for that. If we have any further questions, we can always take it on the first of every month or any other time that we prepare the, we have a webinar, thanks to Sudhir, right? So because I really need to get into another session, that's the reason why I'm rushing.
Yeah.
I won't be able to spare any more time today. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Vijayji, and we'll definitely meet in the next meetup. Yeah. So I will be online for a couple of more minutes. If anyone have still questions, you can ask me questions. Yeah. Thank you, Vijayji. We'll take it forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. And I am available on my ID, VCafe Co or Eco and Twitter. I think, Sudhir, you can feel free to share my Twitter, Gmail, and Facebook ID. I'll put it in the chat before I leave. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a very lively participation.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, participants, if still anyone have a questions, maybe I can ask. You can ask. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Yeah, Sridhar Garu asking by any suggestion on which best further follow usage of cleaning house, room freshener, cleaning vessels. Yeah, see, floor cleaning and toilet cleaning and washing clothes, you can use that straightforward without any issues. Cleaning vessels, again, it depends on at what level we are. If we are an apartment, we need to make sure we are not blocking the drainage pipes. And yeah, cleaning vessels, Vijayji already gave a discussions. Okay, I will share the Twitter handle details in the group. Whoever is in the Natural Eco Living group, you can, I will share. Okay.
Hi Sudhir bro, my question was like which peels we can use, for that different usage, and which are the best you feel as per your experience?
Yeah, see, peels in the sense, use 50% citrus peels and 50% non-citrus peels. That to have a wide variety of peels. Like, we need a citrus for the flavor and smell, which will give you a good flavor and good smell. And other 50% non-citrus because we want to have a biodiversity in our microbes to grow. So that can be Birakai, Ridge-Gourd, Bendy, whatever you have in your house, just add another 50% from that.
Okay. So this, okay, maybe one more question. Like, maybe if you tried, like, what you used for room freshener, and what kind of
room freshener using regular for floor mopping is good. I'll tell you an example. Initially, when the maid used to come, we used to give every day. We used to feel very good. When we started cleaning our house, we saw the very good result. And when we are not in a house, when we started using only once in a week, then the results are, again, I can see, because when we use bioenzymes every day, that itself is a good room refreshener.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Bro.
Yeah. I think no one has a questions. For laundry, yeah. For laundry purpose, what I did is I took 1 liter, say 1.5 liter water, or say 2 liters water, and then soak 500 grams of soap nuts and add 10 to 20% of bioenzyme for a 7 days to 1 month. After that, filter that, squash the soap nuts with hand, and then filter it. Now you have a liquid. You can directly use that liquid in place of detergent. Say just add 1 cup of detergent. 1 cup means the say 25 to 30 ml or whatever, depends upon your usage. Directly add that in the washing machine. And the leftover, whatever is there, instead of throwing it, we can still use that and again repeat it. Again add the water and again add the soap nuts. Sorry, for that substrate, again add the water and again add the bioenzymes and again get the liquid. Now from the second time onwards, you can use that liquid for toilet cleaning directly. Hope I have answered your question. Yeah. Yeah, thank you all. With this, we'll conclude this today's webinar, and thank you for joining this today's webinar.